Loompa, 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 doopity-doo. Doopity-doo. Okay. 3 minutes. If you're in early, one of my secrets is I wash dishes right before I start the live stream because it calms me down. And these things make me nervous. But we got our countdown leader as well, which will start in 2 minutes, 38 seconds. So saddle up, kids! I just ate a 360 gram piece of steak, and I'm feeling very Calgary right now. Okay, what are we gonna draw with? I don't know yet. Pencil crayons, maybe. We'll see. First activity. What do we got? It's 5:55. Oh, okay. Let's put the 5-minute eyeball off. Cut. Hello, welcome. I just got into town and the computer wasn't working, the cables weren't working, and I had to restart and download stuff. So once again, I come unprepared. I'm snacking away. I've got some tea in my Boogeroo cup, and I need it because I'm getting up at just after 6 a.m. again doing Cerebella's Tantric Yoga Challenge, and it's like medieval torture for me. But I had to drive out of town today, and I got back just in time, except for all those technical difficulties. And I brought for tonight a large bottle of homemade cider that Melissa and I made. So we might pop that, have it explode during this episode. As you can see, up on the screen is Mr. Hercules ripping open a lion's mouth. Started it last week. Oh. And this one actually as well, which maybe we'll convert this to a painting if we feel like painting next week. But I wanted to finish this one off because I find if I don't finish a work within a week or two, I won't ever. So I don't want to abandon this one. We're on the Tantone paper, and maybe we'll talk a little bit about rendering more so today. Maybe I'll use pencil crayons. I cleaned up part of the studio and found more materials. We're going by feel, just hanging out, you and me. I might sing. I'm in a good mood today. It's beautiful out. You can hear the birds chirping on a recording. So, let's get this show on the road. If you drew last week, I tried to do 2 drawings in one session. And although it was effective for the second one, I was drawing this in the classical kind of method, like really being fastidious and chopping it away. And so I didn't get to any rendering. I've got a block in basically. Whereas the other one, we did in half a session, half the time, but using more of a constructive method. You know, drawing the head, chest, hips, drawing cylinders like mannequinization, and just drawing the bedbug line or the Terminator shadow with the intention that maybe I would paint this with the Zorn palette, but not this week. I'm covered in paint and turpentine sticky stuff I was varnishing before I got here. So my glasses are all glued up. I had to wipe them down, my computer, my phone. Hopefully it doesn't wreck this drawing. But that's why art's so fun. So if you're just hanging out, and you're hearing the birds and my voice, thank you for coming. I'm going to tilt the camera down and get this drawing going. I will use the standard timing because I need the brakes today to sharpen pencils and things. And I made them on After Effects, so I should probably use them. So we'll use some standard timing and this little guy. And we'll do it like it's a drawing class. Okay, let me tilt down. Try not to watch the screen, it might make you puke. Not because my face is so big, but because it's going to get wiggly. It's a one-man show. Ooh, oh my gosh. Okay guys, I gotta use a Allen key here. I don't want this falling on my head. Jeez, it's really loose today. I'm gonna sit down and just test this and take off my hat. Wow, okay. All right. It's different every time. It's a very organic situation in here. So we'll just tilt this way. Oh. I need the Allen key. This, I don't know what I did to this magic arm, but it doesn't flex anymore the way it's supposed to. So I have to manually do it every time with this tool. Maybe if any photographers know how these things work, you can tell me what I did to it. All right, let's have a look-see. Let's have a look-see. What? Maybe might need to go a little bit higher up. Hey, Harry. Thanks for joining in. Anyone who's showing up for the live stream with me to do some drawing. Yes, I'm going to move this up a little bit with the force of my massive arms. Oh, I know why it's changed. I was doing a photo shoot for my new series of work. That's what it used to be like. Tilt. Head test. It's just one other little error. And it is with the placement. Okay. What? Sorry you guys have to go through this right now. It's a little different on this new software. Gotta zoom out so you can see the whole screen. It's a real hack show here this week. Wow. This is so different. Anyways, I thought I had this live streaming thing down. It's very live today. Just keep shrinking. Oh, you can't even see what I'm doing on the screen right now until I hit the cut button. I see. Well, some magic is happening, guys. Promise. I'm making the screen fit. There we go. 1, 2. Let me try a fade. Ah! Anyways, I've been watching some other people's streams and how they do it. Mike Markowski is a friend of mine. He's in Vancouver. He does it. He has it where it's a split screen and you can see his palette. Although for me, I've been putting the palette here when I'm painting. I think that works fine. Other people are using other types of software. I am thrifty, so I'm using OBS. It's free, but it's got a little bit of issues with it. All right. So in the description of this video, you can find the address of where I got my image that's on the screen in front of me if you wish to learn and draw along. This is Tan Tones paper by Strathmore. We're going to draw for 23 minutes, and I'll talk my way through some of the shapes and forms and what I'm thinking about here. My intention is to get a white highlight on all the brightest, leave the paper as the light, and then add all the midtones and shadows on top. And I'll probably just use whatever's right here. Conte or something. Yeah. I'll use the Pure Noir 1710 because it's ready. 23 minutes on the timer. Let's go. Whoa. Get rid of this too. Even if you just join this live stream to listen, something will stand out. It's not really a class. Oh yeah, no hat, because then you will only see brim. So let's just start at the head and start drawing out the shapes of the hair and just move our way down. I already have some of the main shapes of light and dark, but I'll draw more in the tripod grip rather than my usual grip with the light and shadow at the beginning here. Like, There's a shadow across the forearm right here. And you see, I'll hold the pencil this way for that. But when drawing the shapes out in the head, I'm going to use the point a little bit more. And I might zoom in because we're not talking about the whole thing yet. Just trying to get in the mood. You know, I got to sweet talk this drawing a little bit. So I'm going to zoom in for you guys. How far does this thing zoom? Ooh, ah. If anyone wants to come and operate a camera for me in the future, psych, you can't. This province is still, or is continuing to be on the shutdown. So we will be doing this live stream indefinitely. Okay. So, with the hair shapes. Across the brow here, if I take the eye at a slight diagonal, I can find the edge of his hair. It's going to, you know, this is where he splits his comb. So I just want to draw these shapes now. I don't need to fill them in till later, but these are shadow shapes I'm looking for. How they swoop, how they follow the head. This is what's going to give the illusion that I've done a lot more work than I have. We want it to look like we spent thousands of hours on this drawing, but really we're only going to spend 2. With all the breaks and stuff, you end up not getting as much time as you think, and drawing should always take longer. It's like meditation. It can be actually rather surprising how it can take you away to another place. Maybe that's why I like it. I got a new accountant in yesterday, and she was telling me that when she was a young girl, she wanted to be an artist, and she wanted to learn to draw horses. A common theme here in Alberta. And this artist took her on, and instead of horses, they were drawing naked men. I showed her this drawing. And she was 17. Young, impressionable Asian girl who was absolutely shocked. Of course, I'm paraphrasing her story. I don't think she thought that's what it was going to be for her. And so at that age, you kind of focus on the areas of interest, so to speak. And she was drawing them highly rendered, highly detailed. And I'm sure they were beautiful. Eggplants. You know what I'm talking about. You gotta be careful with YouTube because blocks you from saying things. Anyways, I guess she had drawn them in such high detail that the artist decided to stop mentoring her. Okay. That's pretty cold. But here's the thing. Having an art school, I've noticed that a lot of people that I teach, they're in the demographic of mostly above 50 and had always wanted to be an artist. This accountant, she herself wanted to be an artist. But what it seems to be is the world conspires against people in terms of their creativity. Because it's a very vulnerable thing. And it sounded to me like a story I've heard 100 times, that kind of crushed her dream of art. I was very fortunate, grateful to a teacher named Mrs. Kent. She saw something in me in my disturbing teenager artworks to support it and push me to do better. And I ended up finishing high school at a different school because she taught at it. And she was so supportive of my growth and work as an individual. So either it's a curse that she did that, or a blessing, because a lot of people, they lose because someone doesn't support them, you know? This artist, this creative soul we have within us, and I think everyone has it. Doesn't mean everyone has to be an artist. Scientists are creative. bakers are creative. You know, there's lots of ways to look at it, but it seems like people get crushed at a young age. You know, when we're 12 and we're starting to judge ourselves to others. This is a common story of when people lose it. I was told I was no good and stuff like that quite a lot, but I was tenacious and really I couldn't do anything else. I still think I suck, and don't take that as negative self-talk. I am a bit of a perfectionist and I want to be better. That's a way to improve ourselves. So, not necessarily a bad thing. So I'm just finding some of the shapes, because what I'm going to do is actually, rather than draw it so much to look sculptural, I'm going to use texture to give the impression of the hair, like so. This material that I'm putting down now, this block in the face here. It might get covered if I use pan pastel. So by drawing little shapes, I'll kind of have guideposts in which way to go with this piece. I hope if it's your first time joining that you're not put off by how chaotic the start was of this particular episode. They are what they are. Sometimes I don't talk at all, and it's just me drawing. Depends what comes up in that chat as well. Who's on at this time. Some of these get like 900 views. Sometimes it's 6 people. I guess it just depends on the day. But I'm here every time. That is my promise. Consistency. I think consistency is one of the keys to getting better. It's called the perfect practice. I don't know if you're familiar with the book I recommend all the time, Mastery. I have a background in martial arts. Still love them. Can't do them right now. But they taught me to be humble. But also how to master something through consistent repetitions, you know? So I don't need to draw the same thing every day, although it wouldn't be a bad idea to have done a warm-up today. But in terms of drawing, we have the way we see, and we also have how we operate the software, this tool here. So we can practice the operation, and we can continue to train the way we see to be better artists. That's essentially when I teach a class, I'm teaching people how to see. Someone who has a trained eye definitely sees things far differently. And it's our job to get you up to speed, basically. Okay, that's looking quite good. It is just detail stuff right now. The whole drawing will not be like this. I just want to get this hair out of the way. I talked about it in the last video, kind of being the last thought and last thing. The guy I'm working with right now, we were talking a lot about how, like books, paintings are never finished. They're just abandoned. And I believe that to be true. I don't think I've ever finished a painting, although, well, to my liking. I have signed and sold quite a few. I'm not sure if that means they're finished. I look back at stuff I did years ago and I'm always like, I could paint on that again. it's fair game. But you don't, because your style has changed so much, or the lesson you've got out of it is done. Whatever the reasoning may be, maybe it's just for fun. Okay. We'll add some texture for hair. So I'm just using the length of the pencil just to give it a direction. This sculpture could be very worn out, weathered from thousands of years of being outside. I actually don't know where it is, so it's probably in a museum now, though. This was off the Instagram account, academic_artworks, I believe. My favorite artwork is actually sculpture. My degree in art, the first degree, is in sculpture. Although we never did anything like marble. And when I went to study in Italy and I saw what real marble sculpture, how it was really done, my heart was broken because I had never been taught that. So maybe before I die, I will attempt to make a perfect ashlar out of my rough hewn stone that I'll get from my own quarry. Okay, keep it clean. Keep it clean. I'm gonna just drop this hair on the side. The shape doesn't look right. Okay, awesome. He's got an attached earlobe. Ew! Recessive gene. That's disgusting. He probably has the second toe longer too. That was a convention that the Greeks brought in. They call it the Greek toe. If you're Greek, it doesn't mean you have that toe. Watch, that's why I get banned on YouTube. Talking about recessive genes. Hate speech. All right, let's start drawing key shapes and shadows. And so I'll use, whoa, I should zoom out so you know what I'm pointing at. Okay. That way I can highlight some of the structure. The light is coming from here. And you can see that because of the direction the cast shadows are. So we need to keep that in mind when describing the form. And I will, for outlining the Terminator, I could pull it down the direction of the form. And then when I render it, I'll go across the contour. So from the dark into the light, because it picks up some extra material there. And then later, I'll darken the darks some more. But we'll see, we might change the material. There is some nice reflected light in here, which we could also apply with a different color. Who knows? This is, you know, there's a creative part to this too. It's not just trying to copy what I see. That's great training for the eye, but it's also a little bit boring. So this is the sternocleidomastoid. And there's a space between the two, although this isn't sculpted in such a way that you can see how it attaches in two places. And there's two of them, one on this side, one on that side. That's fine. This is not white, so I'll take this as an opportunity. I really need to sharpen this pencil anyways. I'm going to leave it kind of rough and spotty because the sculpture looks aged. This would be another place. And I'm not going to touch anywhere I'm putting white, because I'll put the white on last. Dark to light. Now if you're copying along, you might have to remember to squint down quite a bit, because there is also texture on the sculpture, but you want to be able to see and understand the forms. And that's one of the best ways to do it. The chest. And there's a cast shadow under it, so I will add more material, draw it in hard. Because even when I draw on top of it, if I use the pan pastel or something, I want it to stay there. So I'm pressing it into the paper. I actually didn't even look to see if there was stuff I needed to correct in this piece. The muscles attaching from the pectoral major to the sternum look like steps in this orientation. So we'll take advantage of that. We'll actually step them up. Step them up. Step them up. Striation. The major and minor, there is a separation across the chest, and it scoops down into the fold. So that gets us a nice dark. We might change the color of this later. They cleaned the studio windows on the exterior, which has not happened in the 4 years that I've been here. So I'm very excited about the view. It really wasn't that bad here. But it feels like springtime. It feels new. Sharpening my pencil all the while. I turn it as I'm doing that. Okay, so that's going to be where the belly button lives. Symbol. Now down the back side of this elbow. We're going to have white right here, but right down here between the crook, there's a little bit of tone on the abdominal. It's underneath him. So we want to show a little bit of a turn. Little bit of a turn. Going towards. So I'm putting it down and going and lifting towards the light. That'll get you the most effect. And there's going to be, maybe I'll put white in here. I wasn't sure if I was going to put a background around him to make him pop because the original is on dark. But I probably will. Probably will this time. So we've got 3 more minutes. So I'll try to get up to here at least. Like a third-ish. The lower half tends to be a lot easier. Skinny legs and all. And if you've seen my other drawings, I tend to pay less attention to that part. Towards the light. Or go with the muscles as you see them. We will have some crosshatch in this puppy. This follows the bicep, but actually it's a vein. He's ripped. He's literally ripping this mouth open. On this same account, I saw a really nice white marble on white Mercury and Psyche, which if I did that one, I would do, it would be 2 sessions and it would be highly rendered. And I would do it classical just because it's very challenging. This is a kind of a mix between the two. It can't be fully rendered because of the time constraint. So there's the eye of the lion coming down. Because I've plotted it all out too, I'm not actually thinking too much about what I'm doing. I'm just putting the puzzle pieces beside the next one. And they should fit because it's all boxed in. Now is not the time for creative big changes. Well, those eye could be a little more forward. Okay. 30 seconds. I'm gonna hit you guys with a little 7-minute break. Sharpen your pencils. It's because I didn't make 5-minute ones. And we're back. Isn't that delightful? I did do work during the break. I decided I didn't need to stop. So I worked on the face. As you can see, there's the shadows and stuff in there now. Some of the structures, some of the eye details. Sorry, got carried. You know how it goes. Got carried away. Which is a good thing. It's all small stuff. It's kind of, you just see the back of my hand. Kind of boring. Anyways, there's enough of a face there that we'll continue on where we were at the break, which is this arm. The arm has an overall tone to it, so I might as well put a little on there. You're just stacking material, so, and the belly has a little bit on there too. Just make sure. There we go. So the forearm, there are these angles and mounds you should really learn to draw. Forearms are very complicated because of the 28 or so muscles in there. I'm going to bring up underneath the ulna, squeezing that wrist together a little bit, and then sink down for the flat part here. These are not technical terms. Unfortunately. And it's about halfway. And then it tapers back up. Very squared off as well. We're a little bit more stylized. On this side of the process of the ulna, so the wrist sits flat and then turns. That's where I'll put the bedbug line. The Terminator shadow. So below all that is darker. Let's do a little cross hatches there. And trying to keep it clean as I go. It's a good habit. We want good habits, this bicep. I think for now I'm gonna see if I can erase out this space. I'm starting to think what might be really nice with this piece is like an olive green background. And I think there's a nice olive green in my pan pastel. Because I feel like that's the way this is going to go today. Because that part is very quick. I don't want to be doing this type of drawn rendering the whole night. Although it's meditative, it's not very engaging for you. Unless you're just sitting and drawing your own. Which was what you should be doing. I know it's nice out there and you can hear the birds. So why work on one's craft? Well, later I know, I just saw something bird related. There's a story of the hen that prepared. There's a very similar story with the grasshopper too, actually. The little hen that prepared while others all played. This is like a Virgo's dream, this story, actually. Because she had to take care of her family. So she gathered the corn and stored the corn. And then when it came time, and winter came, and the other animals in the barn had played away the time and the days, they weren't prepared. Actually, it's kind of gruesome. Kind of like Brothers Grimm. Of course, she was an empath, and she decided to help out her neighbors. But in terms of being an artist, time is your most valuable asset, and you can't get it back. And if you don't continue on your journey and practice, I'm not saying just be a workaholic, because you also need your spiritual growth. You also need to to have a life. All work and no play, right? Makes you dull. But a little bit every day has a lifetime of improvement. And humans, we tend to be immediate gratification beasts. You see, people take my classes and they say, oh, I'd like to draw better. I'd like to draw like this. But then they don't show up, or they don't do the live stream. People think that if I download this information, I have it. Well, this is a skill. It's very different. You can't read a book about swimming and become a good swimmer. You have to actually put in your time and build the skill. And any skill can be learned, drawing and art being one of them. And that's why I say consistency is the road to growth. Because when you first pick up a guitar, you know, these are our notes, our instruments in the same way. I'm using these metaphors because hopefully they convey my reasoning for saying so. We can rest on our laurels and just do things we're good at. It doesn't really feel great. It feels good to achieve something that you weren't good at, to run that marathon because of the effort you put in. And so if you put in enough effort with this art thing, it sure does pay off. It becomes fun to come weekly to the live stream. It's an adventure to do these things. And drawing like this is quite meditative, quite relaxing. It's not like digging ditches. But back to the guitar thing, because I go on tangents all the time. If you play a little bit of guitar every day, eventually your fingers will build up the strength and you'll learn the notes, and then you'll be able to read music. In the same way, if we practice our drawing regularly, or weekly, that would be the ideal. Weekly with the model, which is what we try to do here at the atelier. Rather than being stuck in a rut because you're coming at it fresh and you're continuing, it starts to become a skill that you build up slowly, piece by piece. And I feel like that's how art comes. Even ideas, they have to gestate. They have to develop over time. Art's like a wisdom kind of thing. You get wise by doing it. You can't just read a book about how to make the mark. You've got to make the mark. You really just have to put in your time. Anyone can do an acrylic pour painting. You can watch a YouTube video about it. I don't think the achievement feels as good unless you're unlocking your inner creative. That would be a good way to maybe get them back to the forefront of your psyche. It would be completely silly for me to do that, though. Unless I did it with just my feet or something. An idea. Okay, the achromium process is a slight. We'll emphasize squaring off the back. But once again, leaving it. The color will do that. Okay, so we're moving down. Now some details of this lion's face. And some teeth. I'm going to make mine a little bit sharper. I like art that looks badass. The sculpture is pretty badass. Oh my god. Is that a YouTube no-no? There's a few of these live streams that I thought the drawing went really well, but they're not on the channel because they were blocked by the power of the big company's censorship, which is crazy. Claiming that they're protecting their community. I'm getting wiser, not drawing anything with said parts. Not even, you can't even say the part's name. because these little robots are basically closed captioning everything you're doing. Just kind of cool technology. A little frightening, especially if they listen to my phone calls. Phone calls between friends where you're speaking in your secret language of communication. Might take it the wrong way, especially if it's phonetic. Nostril, big nostril. This lion is taking in a breath deeply. We did some Wim Hof breathing today in my yoga class in the beginning. Oh my God, that makes you feel very faint, and then your hands get tingly. And then you feel absolute terror because you're holding your breath longer than you should, or your body wants to, in order to alkalize your blood, supposedly. Don't take my word for it, I'm not a healthcare practitioner. Even if I was, I'd still say that. A little fold of the belly here. Last episode too, I kept saying, that's good enough, it's good enough. And today I was mentioning it to Doug, who I'm working with, and he's the one who says that. He's a commercial artist, so good enough is good enough. So I know the source of it, where I'm getting that saying. But also I think it's very useful because we can really stop ourselves with perfectionism. At least that's been a problem for me. I'm starting to recognize that now. That's also why I'm drawn to oil painting, is there's so many layers and you can just keep working it till it is virtually perfect. Although when I was doing my bark drawings, I hated it, and that was all about getting it perfect. And if you've never done them, you still should. In my opinion, I think it's a very useful practice. It's more maybe like a Christmas thing, like puzzles. You might not want to do them come spring. But it will definitely make you a better artist, and it will help you to see. You know, the eye, it's made up of muscles. It's also, you know, directly connected to your brain. Something we need to train. So that's coming inward. It might be hard to tell in the reference what's going on here, but it seems to me that something is being held in the hand, gripped, and is coming across inside its mouth. I have no idea. But it gets me to my next part, that little fold, which is what I was looking for to see where this meets up. The puzzle. Now show the roundness of the snout, turning with the form. I'm going back to Waterton after this. Got to finish our bio walls. Can't wait till people can go down and see them. Painted hundreds of animals, 3D animals. Starting to clean up the studio as well. It was getting a little crazy in here with all the stuff we had piled up. The knuckles, I see how the hand is turning there, drop down. So although it's very difficult to see that in the representation that I have, I need to emphasize it in my drawing. Otherwise, it doesn't seem to do what it's supposed to. So this whole top plane of the hand, maybe even I'll bring it up a little bit. Should be described as catching light. Even though the material, that's marble, doesn't really, it's discolored, so it doesn't really let you see that. Okay. We'll put a little shadow work here. We could draw in the texture at the expense of losing the form. Kind of have to decide what you're doing. My hand is dirty and sticky, so I'm dragging all over here. So let's get this bicep. Shadow curls up, and then it follows the form. And it would continue if it weren't for this vein right here. And the bicep is in shadow, which is partially why I erased out that. Should probably watch my time. Oh, we're good. Okay, let's get the this forearm and the mouth done here. And I can't see it on my screen because I've got your window in front of me. Ooh, okay. That's some fun stuff to draw. So I am very much using the tip of the pencil, which often means you got to sharpen more. And it's a shadow on the guy's leg behind. We'll just lighten that up a little bit. Draw the turn of the top of the forearm. And there as well. So across from the nose horizontally is where the elbow sits. So I'll make a little mark. There is a piece of fabric or something behind the arm. We'll draw it, we'll separate it, but just to elongate the overall shape in architecture, might end up just becoming white, how it's seen. So the middle of the forearm is the fattest part, and then scoop in. You know, this arm at the bottom looks exactly like one of the bar drawings. Okay. Clean it up. What is in his mouth? His mouth is curving this way. So I'll, for the sake of explaining what's inside the mouth, I'll actually draw it that way. Because the direction of your line kind of works for the direction of someone's eye, or like the fact that this is like a dark cave. So you can't just draw the same two directions, you know? You have to learn to get more variety. And there's actually quite the value shift in here. So we might also push that further than it is. Just like overlap works for us. By having a very light beside a very dark, it gives you the illusion of more distance. A fundamental I teach all the kids, but useful for us adults as well. There was this show that I watched growing up called The Imagination Station with Mark Kistler. Maybe some of you who are watching this remember it, and if not, you're on YouTube, you can check it out. He's still active today. And he taught the Renaissance words of drawing, like overlap. So my angles are a little off here. Luckily, it's not a feature. If you get the eyes and nose too far off, it looks really weird. And we can put his body in the back there. A little bit of tone. So I'm gonna just work out some of the more complicated bits and some of the things that I can hide. Like here is the mane, I believe. So I want to draw it more mane-like than the sculpture, which has dimension, allows it to do. I want it to look more like hair rather than a sculpted piece of material. So using the pencil in such a way to get texture lines. Sometimes lines are okay. Most lines are bad. Don't do drugs, kids. Okay. I don't know if it's his skin. What he's stretching here. I'm gonna have to go to Germany now and see this sculpture in the flesh. I am amazed by how good these 18th and 19th century German sculptors are in the classical method. I guess it was about the same time Bouguereau and his cronies at the École des Beaux-Arts, the academies were happening at about the same time. Because right after this, you know, you have the total degradation of art as a skill. Art became more emotional, which is fine. The Impressionists, back in their day, were in the beginning very disliked because they weren't doing the norm. Now I find people can't do this type of art. And so there is a real movement back towards artistic skills. And it could be too, in part, that's because the, you know, computer art and the human touch is becoming very important again, because what can be replicated so easily. I mean, I'll never play chess again. I'm reading this book called Super Intelligence, and it's about AI and what we consider intelligence and in how many generations we'll get there. And of course, it's like prophecy because no one knows the answer to that. But it does beg to question if and when simulations will do better than artists. Because technically, they could trace an image and come up with something. But I feel like lacking the soul part of it is going to be a big thing to overcome by technology. And that might be why people have gone back to more of the handmade thing. Has that spirit, that soul in it. Although the way of making handmade things like this is incredibly difficult. A lifelong skill to pursue. Just gonna give myself a place to put the knuckle. Otherwise I lose track of where I'm going. 1, 2, 3. A skill I never thought I was going to have was is talking to myself for 3 hours during these live streams. It's interesting. I write a journal every day and have so because of the artist way since 1998. I've missed a few days here and there, depending also if I was sick or something. But it's been incredibly valuable to my thought processes. However, it's not writing about art. In fact, it's not good writing by definition at all. But more so just a daily puking out of what's left over. And lately, because I remember all my dreams, I've been putting more dream content. Usually I just let them go. But they've been so vivid lately and realistic to my current life situation, like, which makes them a little bit dull too. I'm now going down and putting in some muscles. So sliding down my intentions, bringing them to the next part. Just got to keep on this. It's only been an hour, and I'm about halfway. But like I said, the lower half won't take as long at all. This is basically a blank area. And then we'll get into adding the pan pastel at the end. So come at least check it out if you're watching and have something else on. Whatever you're doing, however you're doing this. If you're watching this after, you can change the speed on YouTube. And I just think my voice would probably sound really hilarious sped up. And what talent he has. I'm very curious about what this... It's like a cloth or something. Yes, so this cloth is hanging down his body. He's probably wrapping it around... Wait, the story of Hercules, what was he given? Some sort of skin or shroud. Now I'll have to find this out because I'm drawing it and I need to make sense of it. It used to be that they taught all of these myths, rhetoric, and I signed up for a course to learn all the Greek mythology, how Hermes is actually Mercury, how they're adopted and changed by the people in power to fit their cultural needs. My oh yeah, because I'm learning all about this astrology because I'm studying the tarot and designing after that. So you got to learn astrology now. I'm taking a Jungian psychology for the archetypes. I'm learning about astrology. It's like, and I just want to make paintings, but you can't do them well if you don't have that background. And then, because I've been painting all these birds and stuff, I have my ornithology. That degree is going to take a few years though. And then I'll just be a bird watcher. There's not much to show for that one. Or a bird listener. Because the majority of bird watching is bird listening, I'm learning. You don't always see the birds, but you definitely can hear them. It's almost like he tricks this lion and then uses this cloth like a web. It also makes the sculpture hold together, probably. I'm just going to describe the roundness of the form a little bit. It actually looks like the lion's arm is backwards and the claws are going this way. Painfully. This stuff I'm not going to spend as much time on. We got a good face, we got some good body. So now we just start moving along. Put the attention where the viewer is going to look, or where you want them to look more. You can even leave out stuff. Thank you guys for commenting on here too. I love that. Otherwise, it's just this one-sided conversation. And although I love myself and spending time with myself, talking to myself like this is a little crazy. I actually don't... I like to listen to podcasts, so I don't have an inner voice when I work. I don't even have a voice that, like, is this good? Like, I don't question it. I've learned to go with the flow for the most part. And so a lot of the content of this live stream is me making shit up to fill the air. Telling silly stories. And that's why I tangent, because I can't keep it straight. Alright, look at the striations in there. It's badass. Will you get this tattooed on your chest is the question. Actually, it wouldn't be so bad. Maybe if you're a Leo. It would make sense. Alright. Palm. Ankly thing. I think. There's a light edge here. It might have to be put in with white later. And here is like hair. Elbow hair. Stylized. The lion is much more simplified. It doesn't have fur throughout. So we won't have to draw all that, which is great. This era of sculpture, late 1800s, early 1900s, so many beautiful animal sculptures like snakes wrapped around mongoose at the Musée d'Orsay, which they're changing the name of. I don't see why they need to change the name of museums now too. Other people's money, I suppose. Anyways, it's got rooms of these beautiful sculptures. I think if I was to collect, rather than cowboys and roping horses from the Stampede, I would collect bronzes from the French and German artists of this era. Bronzes makes a little more sense. Fiscally, they could cast a few, because they were used as a decoration for a room. You have to have a spot to put the thing. That might be my issue. I don't have spots to put things. In fact, I have no more room in my house to hang art. So I was thinking I'd have to get a storage facility, unless you want to rent some art from me. My collection has grown to the point of being too big. But I can't stop. Since I only really know or do one thing, which is art, I mean, I'm a jack of all trades and a master of none, but you gotta stick to what you know. And I think I've got good taste and I know what's worth buying. But I don't know if, you know, I like to support artists today too, but I don't know if they're, you know, if it's gonna be a get rich thing. You buy it because you enjoy it, hopefully. So I gotta follow the shape of the leg around. And those little lines will help denote to the viewer what way this form is turning. Did that a little sloppy. Moving on down to the patella. Seems to be going rapidly. It's 7:16. I think I should crack the cider. Maybe that will get me moving a little bit faster too. Down the top. I'm doing the same thing, following the roundness of the form. The form is going this way, right? It's the leg and the cap. In fact, I could leave that there and no one would really even know any the wiser. Whereas this is the flat part, the top of the quad stretched out. There's a tendon that attaches to the knee right there. And then we can't see much of this leg, so we'll just shade it in. So you can see that the lower half is going to be a lot easier. Thank you. Hello, Jeff. Thanks for letting me know you're there. I appreciate you guys tuning in. Even if you tuned in, turn the volume off. It would help the YouTube algorithm. Just turn it on. God, I should have like 5 computers lined up. My own YouTube channel really has suffered due to my busyness. But I have big plans on bringing it back. That's the weird channel where things get a little strange. This is the Atelier's channel, so I'm being kind of somewhat professional. But on the other channel, I talk a lot more about, not like class stuff, like my actual work. So I'm excited to bring that back because I have been working a lot, but I haven't shared anything. Usually I don't share my commission work either. Sometimes it's embarrassing what one must do, what rich guys one must draw. All right. Big leg muscle. Clean up a little bit. The dirty hand is the culprit. You don't want to work on a paper that you can't erase that off with. Back to the main. So I don't have to do it exactly because I'm drawing it a little bit differently. So it's being drawn more like fur rather than shades of sculpture. So that's kind of a benefit in this case. If this was a graphite drawing, I would draw it how I see it. Graphite, you can get such nice, smooth, soft transitions. Great for drawing white marble. back to the bar talk. Maybe I'm just doing it to see if Keith is out there. Does Keith want to do any bar drawings? No, he does not. But at his skill level, he doesn't need to either. Yeah, I feel like this arm is like twisted. This lion's arm is twisted around. Twisted backwards. He's getting his lion ass handed to him. This stuff might become white too. Not here though. Fabric. Okay. Well, this is rather dark. So I'm finding a direction and sharpening my pencil at the same time. Why not? Two birds, one stone. If PETA owned YouTube, I would be blocked for saying that right now. There is some really fine renders that could go on here. You can spend hours doing it. We don't have that time, but you know, I didn't abandon this already. I love doing that stuff, sitting and doing all the like minutia and crosshatch. It's rare that one has time to do all that in these sittings, you know. You'll notice I didn't even turn the timer on. Whatever. They're different every week. I'd love some input on what else to draw. I haven't done graphite on here, which is my preferred medium. That and charcoal. I love charcoal because it's like paint. It's like oil paint, but no colors. Best way to learn to paint, draw with charcoal. It's also nice and messy. Patella, front of the tibia. This is getting quite dull, so I'll probably claim a break soon, giving me a chance to sharpen my pencil. Go toward, from the dark towards and around the tibia. If you're ever wondering what direction to go, you need to decide if you're going to go across the contour with that shadow line, or you can create two lines to cross through the line you want to create. So I know that's not a great explanation, but look at your, if you have any cash in your pocket, look at your money and you'll know what I mean. It's a tricky way to cross hatch, but it looks great. I mean, you can just do it by feel and look too. It's going to darken that line. This shadow is going to have to be blacked right down, but in the next little bit, there's not much to do down here. So I will get the pan pastels out. I actually can't wait to see what this looks like with the white on it. it'll help us decide too what else to bring up. You guys are seeing it at an angle here still, but it's looking okay. I don't hate it, but I do feel like I really need to sharpen my device. You know what? While we're at it, let me just erase out the background, because I now know that I'm gonna, I think, put green in there. And I can't do it yet, because if I do, I'm gonna smudge into it. So there is an order that we must do these things in. Totally overshot where that fabric was going. Originally it lined up to the belly button. There's a few folds. So it folds around this part of the calf. Right, just build it in a puzzle now. I hope that this is growing brains. Because I know at my age, I'm definitely in cognitive decline. Anything after 25, I guess, they say. You're losing it. This is more fun than Sudoku. Cast shadow underneath the fur. That's cool. Which raises this up. Now I can also draw with my eraser a little bit, now that I have some dark on there. Oh, can you even see this? Bunny, check the screen every once in a while. Huh? Look at that action happening there. So fun. Getting impatient with the bottom is not the way to go. Keep on. Keep on, we're almost there. We are almost there. We're almost halfway, and then we get to do the coloring. I mean halfway in time. We're way further than halfway in terms of the drawing itself. Back of the leg, the back, and then there's a peculiar little fold right there. I don't even care about the fabric. Doesn't interest me. I've done plenty of fabric drawings. In the Renaissance, there's people that's all they did. I guess, you know, that would have been like if your craft is painting a home today, but you painted it to look like curtains, even though it was a flat wall. You see a lot of that in Italy. Plus the rooms were epic in size. Very high ceilings. So they'd paint drapery. And then it would look like you had some money for some velvet. Because that's probably the truth, is the velvet was way more expensive than the paint. And the artisan is, you know, hardworking. But the labor cost was far less. Okay. Very nice. Didn't even bother drawing the claw last time, did I? Boo. Now I'm tilted precariously here, and my pencil's very dull. But we're just gonna keep going, because I want to get to the fun stuff, and that's when I'll take the break, because I need to go find where my pan pastels are. Those pan pastels were bought because of Keith Springall. Seeing his work with them made me really want to use them. They cover a lot of area quick. So it's kind of like paint, but I don't think it's really going to stick to this paper. We'll have to see. I've drawn a few times on this paper with it. I can't remember what my experience was. Just changing the length of the lines to create that triangle shape there. Longer, shorter, longer, shorter. That's kind of like the music. Probably have to sharpen this and draw on top later to bring back some areas. Like here. So I don't have to have all the detail down now. And we won't. Royal we. Man, this is too dull almost. I'm really pushing my luck. It's an abstract shape here, like a tilted house. So it's just a cast shadow from fabric, but get the idea. Like I said, I don't care about the fabric, so the material that I draw with next might cover all that. I don't know. Some structure. Let's get his foot in though. Now all of this is dark due to the fall of light. I feel like I made his foot too short too. That's a feeling, and I'm sitting at a very, very strange angle. My drawing is almost flat compared to what I'm used to, which is this. But it looks better on camera, so that's what we're doing. Ankle, side of the foot, the toe, inside the arch. Toe, 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 very nice. Ankle. Okay. It's too dull to deal with, guys. I need to sharpen my wit and maybe open up that bottle. Maybe. Okay. So let's take a 7-minute break with triangles. I hope that sounds good. Take a look, because when we get back, things are going to change. Starting to be happy with it. Here we go. So, it's like you caught me with my pants down. My pants are on in this drawing, but I'm not quite done sharpening the Conte back. It was really, really short, and it needed to be put in this Derwent holder. So sometimes they fit. Derwent, an English company that makes, in my opinion, the worst pencils, but great holders. Although often you can't get the top part to fit. I bought these in a bunch of 2-packs. I actually still have some at the studio here. They come with a regular pencil size. You gotta have pencil holders. They came as a kit. So I can put my Pure Noir Conte in the big one, and then my Wolf's Carbon in the small one. And I use the two together. They're quite a nice pair. But it gives you that length. Sometimes you can't get the collar on. So I just need to finish up the sharpen, guys. We're almost done the black work before I do the pan pastel. I brought the pan pastel. I put it back in the box, so every time I use it and open it, it feels like Christmas time. A brand new day. Just opening up the box is exciting. I still don't really know what's in this box, to be honest. It's a surprise every time. I want to see if we have that green for the background. The background will probably be the next thing, because with the time given, it'll give the most effect on this drawing. We're almost there. We're almost there. I'm turning the whole time I'm doing that too, like this. You can kind of see if you slow down the video. And this is the 220, I believe. Yeah, 220 grit. But I like to use 80 to break it down really fast if I can. That's the piece that I had earlier, just to get the tip. It's the tip, guys. That's my tip. And then I use this one because it doesn't leave little rock and gravel marks. 180, I guess it depends what brand you're using too. And I took it out of its sheathing material. We're almost there. Oh yeah, that's nice. It's a beautiful, beautiful tool. And then put the 220 back in the bag. That says bunnies, 220s. It also will collect the dust that you can use later with a brush. I brought a brush in case I want to do some pastel work, but now look at this situation. And I have to wipe this off. I'll do it on my hand because I'm going to wipe my hands off anyhow. But there's all this excess material on the pencil that you don't want to get on the drawing. I'll put the garbage in underneath and quickly give a little bunny hand rub here. That's what the baby wipes are for. I'm a single guy and not a single dad, but I keep the Pampers on stock. They're very useful. Look at that. Although I'm pretty stained up, so you might not really see the effect. I can't even open my phone because my thumb is so stained. So it seems to think someone's trying to steal my phone. Or else I would take pictures of the process that I've made. These are quality art problems I'm having. Okay. So I hope if anyone's joining me that you're still having fun. That this is still somewhat interesting. Even if not, I'll still be here. But I could really use some feedback on what to do next, or the format of the show. Seems like we're going to be doing it this way for quite some time, maybe the entire summer. I was really excited the day we did the painting though, and I think I'd like to do that again for sure. So I'll just move back up. Oh my god, it's a whole, I don't know why I was still using such a terrible tool. Sometimes I just get stupid and lazy and break my own rules. The show must go on. This is going to change my life. Oh my god. I was already having fun, but now I really want to render this sucker out. Basically, that was like using a dull saw to cut a tree down, what I was doing there. But I was pressing on stupidly. This shadow across the leg needs to be more triangular. So that's a shape thing. I can even bring it down here. You gotta have your shapes right. Number one thing, get your shapes right. And that means a lot. That's proportion. The perspective, is it a square tilted, or is it, is it a triangle? Is it tilted? Is it big? Is it small? There's a lot built into that first rule. Hierarchy of importance, shape. If you get the shape right, looks like a nose. If you don't get the shape right, I don't know what that is. Stop sign. You see it, you drive up, you put your foot on the brake, right? Shape. Although stop signs are red, color is far, far less important in the hierarchy of importance of art. And I'm sure all the things that I say could always be disputed by someone, but take what's useful, leave the rest, whatever. In terms of drawing form and realism, shape, number one. Value, number two. Value, our lights and darks, gives us the illusion of roundness, of three-dimensionality. And, I've been doing this long enough, I should know better than to not use a sharp pencil. But it's like the light has just gone off again. I'm like, oh yeah, that's what you're supposed to do. Do this every week. And I'm still got bad habits. Don't learn those from me, guys. C'est bon. Okay. Where were we? Down the leg, I guess. This calf is too high up. Should go down to about here. And so if I took any measurements off that calf, any comparative things, those will have changed too. It just looked a little silly. I have seen someone with a calf that looked like that on a video, and it was a bodybuilder. I literally saw this the other day. A bodybuilder whose calf was seizing up, and you could see all the striations. It just looked like a knobbly, painful, gripping hand. It was disgusting. YouTube knows what I like. And cute dogs videos constantly. I can't help it. Sometimes they make me cry. Like the dodo is one that I follow, and it's like all the ugliest dogs being rescued, and like this dog was left behind because it's only got 3 legs. But this owner took care of the dog and built it a little rack. And now look at the dog run around. And then I just cry. And especially like how cute pit bulls are. Although I know for a fact they have really bad gas. If you have a pit bull out there, you know what I'm talking about. They are fart machines. But they're sweeties. Even though they're bred for fighting and all that, originally they're sucky boos. They are not that way. They get a bad rap because of rappers who breed them for fighting. It definitely was alive in the 90s. Okay. Let's do a little bit of shadow. Looks like a wave. It's actually it's like the side of the pencil for the core, which softly is turning. And then the tip for the cast part. So not just thick and thin, light and dark, but the fourth most important thing in drawing, edge control, edges. And I went to Holland the year before last to study Rembrandt and some other Dutch masters for their use of edges. Edges is still a big sticking point for me. I need to work them more and learn how to be softer in my edges. You know, it's good to get critique because you learn how to see and what to look for in your own work. Otherwise, you'd be totally blind. And lots of artists, they're just like, yeah, I like my art. This is what I'm doing. And I guess there's some value to that. But the perfect practice is about improving. And also, if you're not pushing yourself up against a line and trying to get better all the time, well, you won't, for one thing. But there's no growth in that. So I suggest you just go for it all the time. What can you learn from it? How can you make it better? Who can help you to get there? How much will that cost? Time, energy, books. Is it worth it? These are the things you have to ask yourself. It's worth it. It's worth it, guys. Life is learning. Oh, this isn't shadow from the hand. We'll erase out some of the lights after. There's a little bit hair with the fur. Okay. Just the last little bit. We're getting there. Can definitely tell it's a paw in the background now. Doing the drawing and doing the studies actually helped me decipher what the heck I'm looking at. Some things I still don't know. There are other views of this drawing as well, or of the sculpture on the, there's like 3 angles. So you could decipher it with more knowledge. It doesn't matter for this, because we're just making the front-on illusion. The only place that I have yet to go study that I want to is Spain. I would like to study in Spain, and then, maybe I think there's a studio in Caminati there or something like that. I can't remember. A Barcelona Atelier, sorry. Sorry, Jeff, I know that's your place. The other one. I'm actually applying for a residency right now to go back to Europe when things open back up. I love it there because of the history of we just don't have it here in Canada. There's not much to see. I mean, in Calgary, it's like, go to the Glenbow, which you can't even do right now. But we don't have, just walk out there. There's an amazing fountain every 10 feet in Italy. Although I wouldn't do Italy again. I'm over it. But Germany, if they have this kind of sculpture there, I'm interested. I've never really wanted to go to Vienna or anything. But I do want to study firsthand Velázquez, obviously. Who wouldn't want to? And you really need to see these things in person. You can't do it out of a book. You could start. I've done master copies with book references. And got a good start. And then saw the piece for real. And the colors are totally off in the printing. Piece in point, Girl with the Pearl Earring. Lots of my students studied the Girl with the Pearl Earring. I went, studied it firsthand, but didn't make a copy in the museum. Wish I had, but I made color notes. And the colors are far different than what I've seen people doing. So I have a private student right now who wants to do a copy of it. Everyone wants to always do Vermeer for some reason. Like a huge percentage. I think we've done it 7 or 8 times in this class. What's nice about it is glazing. That's always beautiful. But I also think Michelangelo's glazing and Raphael's glazing is uncomparable. I mean, you see those works in person today and, oh, well, one brought me to tears. Me and Martino hiding in the back of the gallery, crying our faces off because it was so beautiful. You know, I love Bouguereau, but I never felt like crying when I saw Bouguereau. It's interesting. I also don't like his subject matter. I think it's tacky. But his way of painting. I think I'm not going to draw the base. Oh, I do have to. Damn it. Because of the foot of the line. I'm looking for ways to cheat right now because of timing, guys. That's how I do it. Go, go, go. Okay, we're running out of time. What can we cheat? That's why also, you'll notice in a lot of my drawings, the feet come last, and I mean, if you've got a foot fetish, and I'm not saying that I don't, or that I do, only my Undertaker knows for sure. But people aren't often looking as intently there. Nelson Shanks. Jeffrey Cleepus has made a comment about Incaminati. Nelson Shanks. Yes, Nelson Shanks is a big inspiration. I'm glad you have that. Jeff, you are, in my opinion, a master of tone and edges. So I'm glad you are finding inspiration and continuing this conversation. And here today, thank you for continuing to be an integral part of this studio and even this drawing. Just whatever you do, don't get your own YouTube station or no one's gonna follow my drawing anymore. I feel like I gotta do something to jazz it up though. You know? I don't know. It's just like, it's drawing. It's such a weird thing because I'm amazed anyone tunes in. And then when I am ready to give up on myself in this YouTube thing, I get all these wonderful emails. And then the students sharing, I'd say students, it's not that they're students. People sharing their work and thanking me. Sometimes I hit the nail on the head, other times it feels like no one is out there. Well, Jeff, my edges are not where yours are, but you can hear that. Hopefully my mic is picking that up. That's always a nice sound when you're working, especially alone. But like we figured out in these live streams, I can't have any music on because of copyright. And I can't have my podcast on. And a lot of people do say to me that they want me to talk, and I don't know why. I've heard my own voice. The truth is I really censor myself because I know I shoot my mouth off. I mean, I don't believe in flat earth, but I've been watching a lot of conspiracy stuff my whole life. So, you know, what with the way BoobTube is these days, I don't want these things to get canceled after putting all the effort in, because some people can't watch it at this time on a Wednesday night. I get like 10 times the amount of views, not on the live part of the live stream. But it sucks for them because they can't leave comments like you guys can. All right, we are getting to a point where I think I need to change what I'm doing here. Maybe a couple more, maybe a little bit more on the fabric. Oh yeah, and the ground. We'll put the ground in. This guy is carved. Wow. He's carved this marble to look like a slab of a different rock. Now that is amazing. Probably, if you're a stone carver or a mason out there, you're probably laughing because you're probably like, yeah, that's the easiest part. And I'm just going to let it kind of dissipate off and get my eraser out. Now, we can start using our timing again. So, I'm going to put the timer on. I'm not opening that cider because tomorrow I have a dentist appointment and I don't need any remnants of the smell of alcohol in my mouth. And let's get to the pan pastel, pan pastel, pan pastel. Whoop. Now this portrait kit has 20 colors, but because I bought the 20 colors through Swinton's, they were having a sale that it was also 20% off the, oh, that's how it opens. 20% off the portrait set. So the portrait set is 5 values of black to white. And then this is the 5, 10, 15, 20. There's the green. And then I got given this one by Keith, I think, because it was a different set. And then at the bottom, they have all the mixing tools. So let's just use this green first, and we'll get the most bang for our buck. But I think I need a little makeup sponge. Ah, and voila! There is one right here. Okay. I don't think we're going to use much colors other than this. We'll see. The white for sure. And a timer on the clock. Now this is all chipped and broken. Maybe Keith knows more about that. I probably dropped it. We're going to do 23 minutes. Let's just, and I'm going to use the edge here to go up against where my lines are. Oh my God. Every time I use these, I'm like, why didn't I use these before? So I'm using it kind of like I do a paintbrush. Go up to the edge and pull away from it. I think this green was a good solution, Mr. Bunny. I hope everyone had a wonderful Easter as well, or Passover, or a variety of other celebrations. Pagan, Jewish, Muslim. Seems like everyone follows the stars. What do they call that when syncretism, which is also what one of my favorite artists from Angel Academy in Florence, a student of Martino, calls his work? Syncretism. Now we're just coloring. I was cleaning out the studio because I wanted to put up these Koshi chimes. It ended up turning into an all-day affair. Cleaning and sweeping and mopping and making the place nice again because it has been chaos. I found an entire box of 72 pencil crayons had fallen behind my shelf, and I thought maybe we'd use those as well. They're very waxy and very cheap. I think I got them at Walmart. 72 for like 20 bucks or something. This doesn't have as nice a sound. But it sure has a nice effect. And I'm not going to do a gradation or anything fancy. I'm just going to put the green down flat. You know, another way that I worked a lot in was with Copic markers, which I could do. I mean, it almost looks like paint by numbers, but you can blend between the edges of shaded values. You can do Copic on here. I have a long history of doing comics and graphic novels, although most of that work ended up being digital in the end. I might have to get myself like a little iPad and learn Procreate or something here. I don't want to get away from the actual drawing. Seems like that's everything steering me that way. I have murals to design and stuff like that, and drawing it, scanning it, coloring it in, and then it not being an actual line seems a little bit redundant. So I'm just using the corner to dab it into these small parts. It's okay if you go over because you can erase it. This material like barely is sticking on here. This isn't the ideal paper. The Can Send Me Tens or Tines or however you say that is good. It's got a lot more grip to it. One of my favorite papers is Fabriano. Although I don't see it for sale here much. I do have some really nice papers. I don't know why I'm still working on these pads for the live stream. I still love newsprint too, you know? I got like paper that's worth $13 a sheet, but I feel like a 2-hour drawing isn't fair to that paper. It's got to be like a 20-hour drawing. You should, whatever the cost of the paper, like if it's a $5 piece of paper, that should be a 5-hour drawing. How about that? Wait, no. Okay, newsprint is like 20 or 30 cents. So 2 to 3 hour drawings. Yeah, now we got something here. 500-hour drawing, oh Lord. A lot of things have changed because of this live stream in my life. Other than I can actually talk while I paint now. That's kind of cool. We'll see about this next time if I can still do it. I find that painting, because of the color, because of the mixing, that there's a different part of my brain being used, and it's hard to verbalize while painting. I have also noticed that a lot of people have painting faces, just like a drummer has a face when he's drumming. People have like a queer look on their face. I'm gonna just, because I'm not drawing, just turn this around just so I can get at the edges. Oh, I should draw something horizontal. It fits on the screen so much nicer. All right, back to the painting faces. Yeah, you guys too. Anyhow, listening to the bird sound. So it actually wasn't only because of the live stream that I started putting bird songs on. These birds you hear are not outside. The windows are closed. They just cleaned the windows though, which is awesome. I said that earlier though. Anyhow, it's a nice soften the edge a little bit there. I started, because I'm studying ornithology, in order to get my mind in the mood for what I was studying, like usually I listen to Baroque music. But the Baroque music I've been using for other types of studies, so I didn't want to have my brain think, oh, you're studying for birds when you listen to Baroque. So I started putting on these bird songs. And then I figured out, well, we could have these on the live stream, and they create such a nice environment. And then I got told that people who listen to birds will accept 10% more happiness as opposed to pay or something like that. I forget what it was. I talked about it last time that Doug told me. It's fact. I believe it. And YouTube can't give me a copyright strike for these bird songs. I don't know who owns these bird songs. It'd be very difficult to tell. Probably nature. So I'm gonna blur this dark into the background. I need some lost edges here. It's a sweet spot. Even this tail is actually a lost edge blurring in. So there's plenty of material on this sponge and paper, so I'm just gonna scrub it in and not even grab anymore. I don't know if I needed it on the bottom. Maybe a little more. Because all of it's going to wind up on my pants anyhow. So where it's dark, like here, I'm going to soften those edges. This side's dark, so I can afford to have a little bit of it on the skin. It's okay. That idea too, on the dark side, if you have a little bit of color in, like here, it's actually kind of like the trick of reflected light. Because if the environment is where the reflected light is coming from, whatever color that environment is, which is the background color here is green, would wind up in the figure. So, just food for thought. Is it food though? Probably a terrible idea would be to eat this pastel. Green eggs and green shit is what it would be. Wiccan? Sorry, I didn't include the Wiccans. They're the real people celebrating the real astrotheology. Grazie. I grew up being a weirdo, as many of you know, and I hung out with these older people in Ladysmith that opened up like a hippie restaurant, and they were Wiccans. And I'd go see them every day, and I actually became vegetarian because of them. Wound up vegetarian for 8 years. A warlock. He had a magic mushroom tattooed on his arm. That also had an effect. I'm going in and just being a little bit sneaky with some of this green. I also like that it's softening my pencil mark. Maybe a stump is better. This brush is hard as a rock. I definitely grabbed the wrong one. So, this is looking sweet. I think we'll put the white down. And then I think in some areas I'd like to add a bright yellow, a warm yellow, to emphasize the paper. So, like a yellow ochre, something rich. Here, you can see a little bit of it in the source, maybe up this leg. Anytime that the light is bouncing from the marble itself, I think that's going to be a sweet way to do it. And then we'll draw on top some more. Okay, let's find the white. Do I want pure white? There might be a nice bright cream color. Wait, there's a map. No. I'll use that diarylide yellow shade inside the mouth and stuff. Raw umber tint. Titanium white it is, my friends. And I'm going to use a Q-tip for that. because there's not an extreme amount of it actually, but it should make this pop. Now this portrait should have titanium white in it. That's not white. That's white. We'll read the bottom just to make sure. Titanium white. PW6, just like in our paint. Same material, but this is held together with the tiers of liberals. And that's why it doesn't stick very well to the paper. I think I'm funny. So it's like I'm painting. It's like I'm painting. But not painting where there's any material, because I don't want to get it on my little Q-tip here. And I fade it out to the paper. Yeah, this all makes sense, right? Stuff is nice and creamy. Very, very creamy. Oh, Bunny's going too far now. Boo. Boo. Okay. Back to what I'm supposed to be doing. I'm not supposed to be painting this everything white. This is the highlight, the brightest parts. Tends to be the area closest to the top, or wherever your light source is. In this case, the top. And as the light falls, you tend to see a lot less of it down here. We'll cheat it a little bit, but definitely not over there. Womp womp. Maybe we'll put a little on this line. We could attribute some colors here if we really wanted to as well. The inside of the bicep is catching a lot of light. That's why I also have that lost edge there. And maybe we just put a little bit by the belly button. Definitely over here. It didn't need the black line on the outside. And he got a little bit wide and dumpy at the bottom. My disappointment. Hercules could have been a little bit. Especially if he was like a giant. I'm actually having this conversation with myself right now. It's ridiculous. Was Hercules real? How about the top of this hand? It's running parallel. How about the inside of this tiger or this lion's arm, hey? That will help. We'll just draw like its fur a little bit. Some fabric folds. Might do better to use a pencil version of this material at this point. Okay. Barely sticks anyhow. Okay. What shall we do next, Bunny? How about the teeth? Then they're more fierce. And a little shine on the nose, even though his nose isn't shiny. We pretend it's shiny. So I'm now using the Q-tip to blend my grays, and I'm blending towards the light. Some areas, it's just going to dissipate to the paper. So that's the darkest light. It goes cool highlight, warm skin tone, cool light, tapering off. So really, that means our shadow should be warm. As well. We have a little rhythm there. But we'll add warm reflected light. That isn't the green light, of course. You know what? I'm also going to put a little white on this leg to give it the illusion that it's sticking out further. Huh? It's the sweet spots. All right, back to blending. So maybe I'll use the other side. Actually, let's get a warm brown. Burnt sienna shade. And we'll go over some of this black stuff. Are we having fun yet? Because right now I feel like whistling Dixie. Titanium white. Another titanium white. There's the yellow in there as well. I wish you could tell from the side what was going on in here. That's not the brown we want. Pinky, pinky. Actually, Keith's palette for these are way better. He's got flat palettes, so you can see all the cup colors. I mean, this is great for storage. I know you're out there, Keith. I know you're out there. Let me take one final guess. Oh, what the heck color is that? Burnt sienna shade, but that's what I wanted. So that's this one. Wow, that does not look dark at all. But let's see what happens. It works. I think anything would have worked at this point. So I'm just taking a little bit of material in and shading with it, just because I wanted that rhythm. In fact, it works really well on this lion. Kind of gives this lion this golden feel. I don't know if I told you guys, but I really don't have a plan. I just like making the art. Do I need a plan? So I'm going from the dark towards the light, as we all do in life. We start in the womb. It's very dark in there, I think. Can't quite remember. Can any of you? Just going to erase out that green. Get the paper warmth back. In fact, this part is fabric, not cloth. And there's a dark shadow underneath that finger. I think that's what's going on. You know what? I didn't draw the fabric is my problem. There. Put it in now. Yeah, this pastel does not want to stay on there. So that's kind of a blessing in disguise. So I'm drawing with the eraser. Works great. Is this a test? It has to be, otherwise I can't go on. I'll erase out a little bit of the tail too. keep some of the green in there. Gives a very nice effect. Anywhere that I need to put shadow or a little bit more tone, I'm using the Q-tip and the brush, or the Q-tip as a brush. From the dark into the light, because I want it to dissipate out. But I'm trying to fortify the darks a little bit, get them locked in the paper at the same time. There's method here. I'm gonna move that up for you guys. I'm wearing a lot of this on my pants. You have Q-tips at home. You might not have stumps or those special pan pastel tools I was using last time. I like to get Q-tips at my local Dollarama. Every time I go, I buy more. A good thing to have in your kit. What? Yeah, you can clean your ears with them as well. The dad humor, and I'm not even a father. It's terrible. My skills are being squandered here to adults. All right. So I want, what? Oh, what? No, huh? I'm in power. So I keep going. I did want the mouth warmer, but because there's so much black in there, I mean, we could hit it with that red or something later. Let's just put that color in. I like where this is going with the brown for the lion. And I'm thinking the yellow or something for the body. It's like slightly toned drawing or something. Remember to follow the direction of the form if you're doing it that way. You see, I wasn't having this much fun in the beginning. I was like, gotta do this drawing good. Gotta impress the people on the live stream. I've nearly forgot about you guys now that I'm having fun. I want you to have fun too though, drawing. You probably are in your own way. The frustration part is over. Getting some benefits here. My hands are so dirty I can't turn my phone on to take a picture of the steps, so it's just gonna arrive. For people on social media who are too chicken to check out the live stream, that's right, chicken. Or watch it later, they'll never know how much fun this was. Damn these pan pastels. I do not work for, I'm not affiliated in any way, they're not supporting me. Keith convinced me to get them. I think I got them like 2 Christmases ago and I've used them about 5 times. Alright. Because he's warm, the lion I am talking to, don't make me sing in the jungle right now, guys. It's my shower song. It's everyone's shower song, I thought. Okay, lion, you need a little bit more love. Other than a dude standing on your back. What a jerk. light rub. Just to unify. Okay. Don't ruin it, bunny. More color. I had no idea this was going to turn out to be a color piece. It's subtle color. So I'm thinking a grayish blue or a mauvish purple color for the fabric. And actually like delineate what that is. Might help tell what we're drawing here too. Dare I? I dare. Okay. See if we can find that color. Wah! Oh yes. There's a definite joke when you spill all the titanium white on your leg. Back in my party days. Wait, there's the yellow. Okay. Let's pop a little on this line. It hasn't actually been used. That's like a fingerprint, but we'll pop a little bit of this yellow on this line. I feel like he needs, you know, Wizard of Ozing. It's a new descriptor word. Wizard of Oz it up. I feel like I drew an extra claw too. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2. Yeah. What? Oh no, that's not claw. Duh. No wonder that. Okay. Dummy. Got a little lost in there. That's the lamest looking claw ever now. Oh well. It's a sad line. How on earth did I do that? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. He's got. I had a cat. My cat Amadeus had an extra claw. Silly, really. We'll put in some line. Okay. Got lost again, guys. It's like I should be jumping around. I think that's cloth. We'll put some yellow in what I believe is a mane, even though it should probably be more of that red color. That seems like fabric there, but. And I do want to keep some of the paper on there. We're not, the goal isn't to cover up all the paper, right? In fact, you should do your best not to cover up as much of the paper as you can, but I think I went a little too far here. Story of my life. Okay, and underneath that is the blue in question. Wee-hoo! So, let's see if we got another Q-tip handy. Way over here. Way up. And now, not the whole fabric. Just the shadows, right? We're just let the fabric remain kind of that reflected color. And because it's like a blurry fabric, like I didn't show everything that's happening with it, just kind of dance around it. So only the shadows being brought into the light have the color. It's almost like the light is taking over the paper. All this kind of, I'm just squiggling here. This is paper. Where are we on time? We're doing good. Almost there, guys and girls and theys, everybody's. Almost there. That is not. So that leaves in question what to do about the flesh tone on this man. I think I'll put a little bit of red inside the lion's mouth too. Because I have this beautiful bright red in here somewhere. There's gotta be a better way of doing this. That's pink. Come on, Pan Pastel, invent it better. All right. I see it. No. One down. Yes. Oh. Oh my God. It hurts my eyes to look at it. Yes. Yes. The screams. That's all it needs. That's it. Do I want to put more? Yes. Damn right I do. Should I put more? Definitely. Definitely not. So, wait. Did I lose a lid? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay. I remember when I was a kid, they had candies that kind of came in screw jars like these. Rainbow candies. And then you could like pick the color or the flavor. You could get them in like meter-long tubes. In like 3-inch increments. And then combine them together. I wonder what happened to all that plastic now. It's probably a dead sea turtle somewhere. Thanks, guys. Thanks, G. My neighbor G piping in. Gotta like that. All right. Where's my roommate? Does he care that I sit here and draw every Wednesday? No. No, he does not. So I'm gonna use a different brown, a yellower brown for the shadow side. Actually, we need it to be warm, but we can't do the same as the, I don't think we should do the same as the lion. We are mama way. It's in me, guys. It is in me. So I use that one. Let's do red. I mean, it's not gonna look different. Raw umber shade. Sold. Classical. Like, I'm tempted to put blue on him too, but that reminds me. I only did the hanging drape. I didn't do this part of it. Oh God. Bonnie. Got red in there. It's blood. It's blood, guys. There's almost too much color now. Oh my God, 20 minutes trying to decipher what is reg. I don't know. Why not? Oh, yes. Loving it. I don't know what's going on there. So I'm just blurring the black. What do I do about this character now? Should we go with just... We have that. Like yellow ochre. No, we don't have it. Say bye. Maybe I do talk to myself when I'm working alone. I know that I definitely sing and say the most ridiculous things. I'm gonna be afraid to work with people in the room again. Okay, not an instinct. I could just grab one and just open it. Not the top one though. Let's go with that. Ooh, love it. That is the shadow side of the guy now. Towards the light. Towards the light. It's nice and soft. We'll make it look more sculptural. I made a pact that I'm only going to use Q-tips on all my art from here on in. I traded it for fame and fortune, being known as the Q-tip guy. The sad thing about that is I'll go deaf, right? Like Mozart. Oh, the Q-tip guy. No, he wasn't a visual artist that went blind. He used Q-tips. He went deaf. Sucks to be him. And after, I will go back with some darks to draw in a little more. Thanks, Keith. Appreciate that. Your opinions do mean a lot to me, guys. I'm just in here alone, missing you guys from the studio. And you know, when they do open this back up, it's gonna be summer. So it's not like anyone, we'll see if people want to come back. I don't know what's happening anymore. I've given up trying to understand it. Just an unessential artist. That's what I've learned from all of this. And yet so important, this practice. No matter what they say. It's okay to use your finger too, guys. I'm going to simplify the face a little bit. Maybe a few pieces of hair here and there. Whoa, might be too simplified. I don't know. He looks more like he's constipated than than killing a lion in mine. Oh, Brian. Okay, back with the pencil. Time's a ticking. 15 minutes. Gotta have a time limit. Urgency is critical to this practice. We get paid by the minute. I don't get paid anything for this, so it should go faster. Maybe I won't box this up completely because I might have a whirlwind of something I want to do. But I need a sharp Conte, and I happen to have one hidden way over here. All right, I'm not sure how much you guys can see, but I'm going to get a bridge or a crutch. Oh look, Google sent me mail I'll never open. Let's use that. Oh, it's kind of cool. Oh, it's got money in it. Sure thing. Okay, so his eyes are the focus. So I really should intensify the look because he was looking dead. I mean, he was looking like the sculpture. So I need to get more out of it. Maybe make them a little bit longer even, so they're not so forward. And just darkening some areas of shadow. Drawing some more lines. Doing what we can. Wait, I didn't even lighten the whole arm there. Oh my god. Bunny, bun. I think I'm losing my mind. I knew there was a reason I hadn't opened those pan pastels. But it's easier for me just to grab these now. They're here. They're not quite the same soft look, but that's okay. Nothing a little finger can't fix. And like James Bond, I can do a lot with my little finger, as long as it's clean enough. Maybe we'll draw some hair strands with the edge of this too. Catch the ear a little. Put a fake reflected light on that side of the arm. And maybe a little, it's almost like there's a little bounce light in here. A little rim light on one side. Whoop. But don't go too far, guys. Don't ruin your drawing. Do as I say, not as I do. So I'm just gonna pretty much just darken a few more areas here. The darkest darks, cast shadows. They got lost. This is often what happens. It's okay if I leave them a little sketchy as well. It's okay. The core shadows, the terminators, should become dark again. That will really help pop the forms. As long as you don't make them up and put them in the wrong place. Which I often do at this point because I get all designy and impatient. For the most part, except for my roommate, that is, people are pretty supportive if you're going to share your work. If people don't like it, they're not going to say anything. It's not, unlike YouTube where people will comment and tell you they don't like something. So if you made a drawing, you should put it up on the old Instagram. Show the world you're doing something. That will inspire others because, you know what, actually I would say that if they don't like it, that might inspire them more to be like, you know what? Sick and tired of this guy always posting his drawings. I'm gonna draw something now. You'd be helping the world. Maybe. Don't quote me on any of this stuff. This is just me filling air again. Because you don't want me singing right now. Yeah, popping it off. Boom. Where else is dark? Where else can we pop it? Right on this shadow. I think about Frazetta a lot at this point. Comic book, Stan Lee. Although he didn't draw any of it. Buscema. Let's think about how they did their shadows. To show the reflected light inside this leg, I just do on either side of it. I love that little hot spot when that happens. It's like boom. And it's a process that does it. I mean, you can think it and have a plan for sure, but it's really just the order that I'm working in too. We'll leave this crumbly rock stuff at the bottom. Just draw little circles. It is kind of nice to have that. And the paper has a nice texture too. Oh, we're getting close. We're getting close. All I've thought about the whole time drawing, honestly, my mind's been wandering, and I don't know if it's the birds and the bees behind me. I just really want to go camping. I'll be in Waterton, so it's not really camping when I'm working like that. Get up a ladder 15 hours a day. It's not really camping. But there's a little wilderness out there. I just got to make it through a board meeting tomorrow night. I'm now the president, so I got to be the chair of these meetings. I hope I don't screw it up. Roger's Rules of Order, if you don't know them. I move that you learn them. That's what they're saying to me. I move that you follow the Rogers Rules of Orders, Bunny, in order to have this meeting run efficiently and effectively. Yeah, let's do this leg one. That's nice. I like how this I made this back leg just sort of disappear. Okay, where else? How about this wrist to forearm line? Let's pop that out. How are we on time? 7 minutes. You know what? Only a few more minutes because I gotta get up in front of the camera and rip my piece apart. Rip it a new part hole. Because I could sit here for another hour at this point, but to me, the time limit, and then you got to think about when you're working, like, is it worth the extra time for the benefit you get? And a lot of times, especially because I am only going to post this on social media, it's going to wind up lost or in a book somewhere. No, actually not. So maybe I won't do all that extra work to make this awesome. Is it good enough? His face isn't doing it for me. What can we do? Ah, that's why. There should be light on his cheek. What he really needs is a little more definition here and there. It's like he has a baby face in a giant man's body. I'm almost done Jordan Peterson's book as well, so I'm kind of driven to run home and get some reading on. I was varnishing a lot of today, so I think my brain's a little messed up. That MSA is pretty crazy stuff that we use. All right. I think it's good enough. That's what I'm saying right now. I decided just now, time to clean up. So let's do a compare and contrast beside the screen. do it now. Let's do it, bunny. Watch yourself. Pulling the camera back. Oh, movie recording. What? I never recorded anything. Yeah, thanks. Okay. Sweet. Thanks for the information. Alright. Hey! Is this the best way? Je ne sais pas. Do 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 do. Hey, almost here, guys. We're almost at the end. I'm getting silly and I didn't drink that drink. We'll put this guy beside. I didn't make a lot of room here for myself. Alright, that's all you and your comments. Thank you. Look, you can see little icons. Some people I don't know. Thank you for joining me. What? This is the part where we do a side-by-side. I got 800 plus square feet and I can't even get between the TV. It's crazy in here. I need to see. Hey, sorry. I gotta keep this mask on even inside in case anyone knocks at the door, or I need to see a man about a horse. Let me just see where we're at. We don't need to see all that. Where are we at? Here I am. I'm gonna go in a little tighter. Because it's the art we're talking about here. The frick? Not? Well, the logo's in there, so we'll keep it. Alright, what was I thinking with that face? It looks like an ugly, squished little emoji. Oh well, we have fun. Anyhow, there it is. So we did some color stuff from last week's drawing. I can't wait till next week because I never know what I'm going to do. Stay posted on the Instagram and follow. Wait, turn the mic towards me. Can you hear me now? Don't trash the place. Anyways, thank you guys who are always joining me every Wednesday for the live stream, 6 until 9. There's Hercules ripping with blue baby cloth, his baby lying open. It almost looks like he's like trying to pull his tooth out or something. He's like, just quiet, just bite down on this. And he's like, no, I don't want to. He's like, you're going to do it. Good story. Okay, thanks for joining me. I hope you watch these again. Send me your pictures via my email. All the other information is down below in the description box here on the YouTube channel. Share it with your friends. I'd love to get more subscribers. And as I do, you'll notice I get crazier and crazier, which is entertaining. But thanks again. I think this is going to... Hey, my hat. This is going to be it for the night. Bunny's going to go home and get this off his hands. Make sure he brushes his teeth because I'm going to the dentist tomorrow. I don't know what you're doing for the rest of your night, but I'd like to thank you for joining me. And now I'm going to do my fade to black. Good night.